Let's make another wreath, and this week we're going to make an American flag wreath, and I love the mesh that we use, and the star just tops it off. And guess what? This is a wreath kit that you can buy from the Wreath shop. Listen, there's a limited number of these kits available, so if you want one, go to the description box and grab that link and go get it, because it's going to sell out fast. So let's get ready for July the 4th and all the patriotic holidays ahead. Let's get started. Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. So last week we did a July 4th wreath, and I thought, you know what, while we're making stuff for July 4th, let's make another one. We're going to make a July 4th or a patriotic flower. We're going to do, a couple years ago I did an American flag wreath and you guys went nuts for it. So I'm hoping you'll go nuts for this one, because we're going to do this one a little different, and we're going to get a kit for this one. This will be a kit from the Wreath shop, and I'm not sure if we're going to use one roll or two rolls, maybe just one roll. We'll see by the end. But we're going to use the stripe fabric mesh. Both of these are 10.5 inches wide. We're going to use a 12-inch wreath frame. I'm going to use this really pretty white flocked star. It's got, I don't know if you can see that, but it's really pretty. And then we're going to use some canvas mesh. Now, the canvas mesh will not be in your kit as of right now. Sarah does not have this, but have no worry. Go to your local Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or any other type of craft store that sells yarn, embroidery. Go to that section, and that's where you'll find this. Or go on to Amazon. They have it too. So let's get started. We're going to start off by cutting our mesh. But before I do that, let me show you really quick here, because this isn't something new. You're going to take your plastic canvas. You're going to draw a circle. We don't want to waste this. Around this middle, or the middle section here, the center section. I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to attach it to my wreath frame with some zip ties. And that's all there is to that part. So I'll have that already done, but let's cut our mesh first. All right, so now let's cut our mesh. If you've been watching me for any length of time, you always know that I like to use a wood burner as often as I can. Sometimes you can't because of the type of mesh, if it has a jute in it or not. A jute is like a burlap, like a string, like a jute string. Then I always have a glass cutting mat. I have these in my Amazon storefront. This cutting mat came from the Wreath shop, but I also have them in my Amazon shop. But this right here is Susie's ultimate collapsible mesh roller that I use. I do have a link for these down in the description box below. I forgot to put it underneath the little roller here because it keeps it nice and flat for me. But you can get these from her. These are great, a great tool when you're trying to cut a lot of mesh. So this is 10.5 inches wide. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're cutting it, because I don't want you to cut it just at 10 inches. I want you to try to cut it as close to 10.5 inches as you can, okay? So you're just gonna do as good a job as you can, and I try to keep it going through the center of the mesh. Now this mesh is a little curvy, so that's not gonna be as straight as I would like, but that's okay. I'm gonna cut it, all right? But this can cut with a wood burner. So let's cut this whole roll for this flower wreath. I will let you know at the end how many we do use. I know we probably won't need all of the navy blue that we have, but you're just going to cut it as well. Oops, got that one. This is a little curvy, so I'm not going to worry about getting it straight. And like right there, I messed up, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll make it work. So I'll cut this, and we'll come back and we'll start putting our flower together. Okay, so let's put the petals on. So we're going to look at this, and we're going to look at it as in like an American flag. So this section up here is going to be our navy blue, and then the rest is going to be the red and white stripes, all right? So as I look at this, there's not like a clear, cut here, but what you can do, if this helps you, so if we use this as our stopping point, okay? And so this right here would be about the middle point. So right here is where I want the blue to stop, okay? So I put a mark there. But we're going to start with the red first. So if that is our mark right there, we're going to start on row 2. This is a typical way that I teach you guys how. And this is really key how you fold the mesh because of the stripes. So what we're going to do is we're going to have finished sides on both sides, right and left. Then we're going to meet it in the middle. We're going to gather it, and then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to lay this side over this side, okay? So that way when we're layering it, you can see the stripes are going the right direction. So let's just take this, and right here is the thing. So I'm going to start it right there. Put our zip tie on. And you're just going to go around the first layer until you get to this far, okay? So we're going to go all the way around. I don't know how many we're going to need. So let's put another one on, because this isn't poly burlap. Usually poly burlap covers a little bit more. So let's see here. I'm going to fold it over so that our stripes are going the right direction. Let's put one over here on the cross bracket. So these are, I'm putting these pretty close together because we don't want any gaps. So these are pretty close together. So let me go ahead and do this, and I'll come back and I'll tell you how many basically per section you're gonna need. My guess is we're gonna need about 5 of these per section. Okay, so from bracket to bracket, we have 4 in between and 1 on each bracket, okay? So on each of the brackets, you'll have 1 plus 4 on the space bars in between. So I'm going to keep going again until I hit this point, because right here is where we will start with our blue. So I'll be right back. Okay, so what I do know about this project is we will need 2 rolls of this really pretty red and white mesh, okay? So we will be getting 2 rolls in that kit. So now that we are to the point where we can start adding our blue, I'm gonna start adding it on the cross bracket here. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Nothing different as far as forming the petal. We're going to just take it. This one is a little less tricky because we don't have to worry about stripes or anything like that. It's just blue, all right? And then you're gonna add 4 in there, 1 here, and let's see, that has 1, 2, and then you're gonna add at least 2 more here. We'll see if we need to add more, but 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 altogether here. So let's see how that's gonna work. Okay, so this is a lot of mesh. I know this, but this is gonna be a very full wreath, and it's gonna be a rich looking wreath because of all the mesh we're using. Now, because we're using a 12-inch frame, you're looking at a 26-inch in diameter wreath. So this is going to be amazing. It's gonna be nice and full, and the star is gonna really set it off. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna skip the next 2 bars altogether, and we're gonna focus on the grid, okay? So basically we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go through here, and we're going to start about right here, and we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to keep everything pretty close together. So we're going to start with the red. So we're going to start about 3/4 of an inch in, okay? And then we're going to add a few more on the inside where the kind of like the dips of our star is, but we're not going to add a complete 3rd layer for this wreath. So you're going to do the same thing. Nothing changes in the petal, okay? We're going to keep everything the same. So we're going to put it right here. And I'm going to keep these pretty close together because here's the key. We want to keep that red, white striped look, okay? But we also want to make sure that all of these zip ties are covered. So that is really, really key here. So I'm going to maybe skip one and go to the next one. Let's see if that is good enough. Make the same petal, and honestly I feel like I really kind of feel like that patriotic decor is good for all summer long. So that's what I love. You know, somebody pointed out to me in last week's video, and if you haven't watched last week's video, go to my YouTube channel. It's last week's video. I made this beautiful flag inspired wreath with fabric from Hobby Lobby, and all the supplies are from Hobby Lobby. So it turned out really pretty, and I have it on my front door. So if you guys are not on my email list, you want to get on my email list. You want to know why? Because I give projects like this away. We give out 2 of the projects that we make every month away, but you have to be on my email list to enter. And we don't give it away on any other social media, but you have to be on that list. So if you are already on the list, you do not need to sign up again, but you do need to make sure that you add me to maybe your favorites. I don't know how email works, but make sure that it's not in your spam folder, and that you can find me and find that email. And it's just like a little Google Doc. We don't do anything with that, but you like put your address in it so that if you win, we know where to send it. But that's how you guys win. Okay. So, and then all those Google Docs are numbered, and then you choose a random number, and that's how we know who wins. So see, I'm going to just keep going all the way until I get to here. So if you're not on my email list, check out the link below in my description box down below, and make sure you're on that email list. Okay. So let me work my magic and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm really loving how this is going. So let's do the final petals, because we don't need an actual layer of 3rd row. We only need enough when we take our star here and we put it in right here. Okay, so the top of your star is going to be where your red and your blue meet. All right, so we need at least maybe 2 to 3 here, 2 to 3 here, 2 to 3 here. And then what we'll do is we'll put 1 red and white and 1 blue. So let's try with 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off like so. Keep my fingers there for measuring purposes. Oh, I've ran out of zip ties. I got to go find some. Here's some. Okay. Grab some of these. So what I'm going to do is with my 2 fingers there, I'm going to lay 1 right here, about an inch in, and we're going to do another one right beside it, and then we're going to test it out and see if that is good enough. All right, so let's put in 2 petals. All right, 2 of the red and white ones, because we want that star to lay really nice. And I feel like if we put too much mesh in here, then we're going to have it not looking as nice as it could be. All right, so we're gonna do that. Now let's get our star, and then that way you'll kind of get the feeling of what I'm doing here. All right, so let's put this back here, and when we put the star down, yep, 2 pieces of mesh is going to be perfect. So the next one, let's do this one together. Okay, I'm going to put my 2 fingers here. So this one right here will be the red and white one, and then the other one will be the blue one. Remember, these do not have to be perfect. My petals are not perfect. Put one there. All right. Okay, so let's turn this around. Let's get our star back out and let's see. Yep, that's going to be perfect. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put 2 more here, 2 more here, and up here it looks like we're going to do 2 blue ones. All right, so whatever it lays on here, that's what you want to do. So this would be blue, red, and only one of them will have 1 red and 1 blue together. So I'm going to finish that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to show you how you're going to put this on. Okay, so one of the things that I keep in my drawer is basically scraps of felt. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a scrap here. It doesn't matter. It's just about a 2-inch by 2-inch. That's not a square. It's a rectangular. We're going to cut off. This is actually like an ornament. So we're going to cut off the string up here. We don't need that part. Now, do remember, if you get this kit from the Reshot, you're not going to have like the pens and the zip ties and the canvas mesh. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, you're just going to get a frame, 3 rolls of mesh, and the star. All right, So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of wire. Again, I just have this on hand. It's one of those things that you should always have. I'm just going to take a, let's see if this is going to fit through it. This is just a floral wire. Yeah, that'll fit through. I'm going to go down all the way through it because it's pretty deep. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to cross it here. There we go. Then I'm going to add some glue there. Now this is Gorilla Glue because this wreath is going to my brother and his wife. And she needs a American flag or a patriotic wreath. So then I'm going to add some to this felt. We're going to go over top of that. And then what I like to do is I like to take pens. I'm going to take these little white pens here that I have, just straight pens they use for sewing. And they're going to go in where the glue is, all right? I just like that added protection. And then we're going to let this set up. I'm also going to go cut a piece of felt that we're going to put on the back of the wreath to help protect the back. And we'll just put that on with zip ties. Really easy. All right. So let's let that go. Okay, so our star should be ready to go. So we're going to put this in and make sure that we put it down the way we were supposed to. Put it down in there. All right. Make sure everything lines up the right way here. Kind of bringing the petals that we put in between the pieces. Kind of making sure that everything comes to where it needs to be. Okay, and I'm going to push that down just a little bit because we don't want to see it on the back side. So I'm pulling this and we're going to pull this over. And then we're just going to keep that nice and tight. And then we're going to cut off the wires, put them in there. These are from my Amazon storefront. Listen, guys, I have an Amazon storefront. Links down below. And I have so many different crafting stuff, but I also have stuff for the home. I'm starting an organization one because my sister-in-law is helping me get organized here. But so many great things for Father's Day, Mother's Day, all that stuff. So let's now put our backing on it. Now I had to get an off-white one because I didn't have white. But for her wreath, for her door, nobody's going to see this. And I did not want to use a color because I'm always a little worried that color might bleed onto the back of her door because of the heat. So since that is a possible problem, I'm going to be really careful and we're just going to use cream, even though we know it doesn't really match. So you're just going to take a sharp scissor, and you're going to, I don't know if this one is sharp enough. I have another pair that I really like. Ugh, be careful. And you're just going to poke a hole in it, and then you're going to take a smaller zip tie, and I just attach it with zip ties. I do not use glue for this part. If you want to use glue, go right ahead. It just seems like that would be really messy. And then I just tuck it underneath. So I'm going to put it on this side. Now I get this question a lot. How are you going to hang it? Well, you're going to still have enough gaps in the felt that she can hang it right here. Okay. And we'll make sure that we don't put anything that's could get in the way. And that's what you're going to do. Okay, so I'm really loving how this turned out. I'm going to give you one more tip. We put the felt on the back to protect the back, but I also would recommend going to like Walmart, Home Depot, whatever kind of hardware store you might have, and pick up a can of this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch clear satin, okay, or the matte. And this has something and it says UV resistant, okay. Now listen. If your door is facing due east or even due west, it might be that it's the sun's coming, and especially east, it's going to fade your wreath. But I can tell you this will help slow it down. Will it take fading away? No. Will it cure fading? No. But it will definitely slow it down. For the sister-in-law that I'm making this for, she had a wreath or a door that faced due east, and every time I would make her a wreath, within a month, it would literally disintegrate. It would fall apart. And so what we figured out, it was the direction that her door was facing. So I got this and I started using this, and it's really a great product. It will help seal your edges and help give it a little bit more protection. So this is a great product to use, but make sure you test it on your mesh first. Okay. Don't just spray it and then be like, oh, it's leaving a residue. No, test a piece of the mesh before you do the whole thing. All right. But listen, I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight, watching this video. I appreciate it so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. We are here every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get this kit from the Wreath shop, the link will be in the description box below. Check out my Amazon storefront and all the different things that we have down there. But I think this is beautiful. It is such a beautiful and full wreath, and it's 26 inches in diameter and about 4 inches deep. So this is a beautiful wreath. And make sure to go grab it from the Wreath shop, because listen, guys, quantities will be limited. Once she's sold out, she's sold out. So get it while you can tonight. Probably tonight would be probably a good idea. So until we see you next week, we'll see you in Julie's Wreath Boutique. Bye bye.